facilitates the safe berthing of different-sized oil tankers. The terminal also offers the group and its customers opportunities for storage and transshipment from LATAM and North America. The statement closes noting that the terminal will have a phased launch this year as a part of a $100 million relaunch. Still in East Grand Bahama tonight, we hear about another major investor who is eager to contribute to the economic development of the island. Officials say they are working with a deadline in mind and have taken into account possible delays. Jolanda Thompson-Everest has this report.
When I drive around the island, you can see the beauty, and I think it's going to be an amazing port for Carnival as well as for the Bahamas as well.
This coming from Carnival Vice President of Operations Strategy Juan Fernandez, who says that despite possible delays in the cruise port construction, the community can rest assured that they remain committed to the island of Grand Bahama. The cruise port will reportedly be the island's largest economic and commerce complex, expected to attract approximately 2 million guests.
So we're moving as quickly as we can, and internally we're extremely committed to making sure that this project moves as fast as possible. Right now, the latest that we have is that our project, we're expecting it to open early summer of 2025. We're going to be going through at least 2 hurricane seasons through this construction project, and pray to God that the community in Grand Bahama and the project don't have to go through anything major. But there's just a lot of weather and that could impact the schedule. So we're going to be much more confident about the schedule later this year. But right now we are shooting for early summer of 2025.
Okay. And despite possible delays, they are eager to open the port and begin welcoming guests.
Carnival is extremely committed, and I think we have more pressure internally to get this accomplished. We're extremely excited, as I mentioned. We really want to start welcoming guests. So the full weight of Carnival Corporation is behind this project, and we're going to make things happen. There's going to be challenges just like in any other construction project, but we're extremely committed to working through those. And so far, knock on wood, the weather has been favorable to us, and we're moving very favorably.
Despite all odds, the Carnival executive sending a message to the local community regarding their commitment and dedication.
I think the local community should be extremely excited. We're very excited about the project and all of the features. We think it's going to highlight the Bahamas. It's going to be a gateway to Grand Bahama, and it's going to create a lot of opportunities. So we envision more than 1,000 opportunities created once the port is up and running.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson-Everest.
Thanks, Jolanda. Well, the Grand Bahama Island Promotion Board officially launching the Grand Life magazine at Grand Lucayan Manor House today. The publication will be shared digitally and through print with visitors, travel agents, and at tourism events around the world. The magazine highlights Smith's Point fish fries, unique restaurants, and stories about men and women who make the island unique. Our Aja Quant was there for the launch and has the details in this report.
It is an exciting day here at the Grand Lucayan Manor House as Grand Bahama now has its own magazine. The GBI Promotion Board launching its Grand Life, the magazine that will serve, according to Acting Chairman Ian Roll, as the voice for Grand Bahama. The Grand Bahama Island Promotion Board promotes the island as a tourist destination and conducts marketing initiatives on behalf of its private sector members. One of those initiatives now being the Grand Life magazine.
The goal of the Grand Life magazine is to tell captivating stories of the real Grand Bahama and share a bit of the wonderful adventures that the island has to offer. The publication can also be used as a powerful sales tool for travel professionals who are introducing potential visitors and investors to the island.
On February 2nd, the board hosted a soft launch of the digital magazine where a number of U.S.-based travel agents and the Ministry of Tourism, Investments and Aviation representatives got a first glance at the publication. Marketing coordinator Carmel Churchill says the magazine now has a reach of over 500,000 readers.
With the assistance of the Bahamas Ministry of Tourism, Investments and Aviation Communications team, we have been able to increase our reach beyond expectations. Over 395 media outlets picked up our story, giving us a potential audience reach of almost 173 million.
Acting chairman of the board, Ian Roll, reminiscing on the previous occupancy numbers, noting that 2023 already has an increase since 2020's 27%. He says the board is working to ensure that the numbers continue to grow, particularly with the help of this magazine.
Due to the board's collaborative efforts with its members and island stakeholders, in partnership with the Bahamas Ministry of Tourism, we are already seeing positive growth for the first quarter of this year, reaching a forecasted occupancy of 53% among accommodations. This magazine has met those expectations, and we're looking forward to exceed them.
The second edition of Grand Life will be published in April, and the board invites anyone with unique, compelling stories to send them at visitgbi@gmail.com or visit GBI's social media pages. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Azra Kwan.
Well, the Junior Junkanoo Parade may be over, but the controversy surrounding the participation of one public primary school is showing no sign of letting up. Some parents have taken issue with the school's principal and the way she reportedly handled the students during that cultural event. Shane Stubbs explains.
Parents are speaking out against a local primary school principal after an incident that occurred during the 2023 Grand Bahama Junior Junkanoo Parade. Now it's alleged that the principal tried to stop the students from performing on the second lap by blocking the banner and taking away the students' instruments. This is not their first run-in with the principal and are calling on the powers that be for something to be done. Students and parents were outraged by the actions of Walter Parker principal Romelda Bean after the principal was allegedly seen taking hats off the students' heads. Usain Knowles, a parent of one of the Junkanooers, said he began recording footage of the students who were visibly upset after the principal went to extreme lengths to stop them from performing the second lap of the parade. The students eventually finished the parade avoiding disqualification, but Knowles says it should not have gotten to that point.
After I see her take it upon herself to yuck the hat off the children's head, I started to record. And I catch a moment where the first said the parents got together and tell the kids them just rest the hat on the ground. And she came and continued to collect it because the kids wanted to do a second round, and she refused for them to go on the second round. See the frustration on the kid's face is what really irate me. And then I have my own personal daughter, I had to comfort her from crying and all of the time. As a principal, you can't do that to your kids. That is disrespectful, and that's show force of your authority, and that's overdoing it. And I think they need to do something with her, because if she's going to do that to her own kids, she do not belong in that school.
Another parent who chose to remain anonymous says Bain did not want anything to do with the planning of Junkanoo to begin with, and was upset to see the incident grow to that extent. She also calls for something to be done.
When we had the first general meeting, Miss Bain didn't want anything, and she made that known in the meeting that she didn't want anything to do with Junkanoo, and that she had already canceled Junkanoo and she had no interest in it. Now, weeks later, when us as parents came together and started doing for the Junkanoo, she still wasn't involved in it until the very last minute, meaning during the time when the banner was being made and the hats for the students. This isn't something that just came up over Junkanoo time. This had to been something going on a long time, and something needs to be done.
By rule, primary and high school divisions are set to perform 2 laps. District Superintendent Ivan Butler says in prior meetings with the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, he advocated for 1 lap due to the amount of groups set to perform. He hopes for a resolution in the future.
I understand there was another meeting, and Culture then informed them that it was mandatory for 2 laps. And so we will have a dialogue with Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture concerning that. And I was disappointed that I wasn't a part of that final decision. It was a very successful parade, but we will make some adjustments moving forward.
We did reach out to Principal Romelda Bean, who declined comment, as the matters will be presented before the courts. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shane Stubbs.
Now, we tried to contact Cultural Affairs Officer Monique Leary for a response on the matter, but our calls were not returned up to news time. In other news tonight, a human rights activist is urging Bahamians to be mindful of how they treat illegal migrants once they enter the Bahamas. This comes after a video surfaced from the nation's capital showing immigration officers physically harming men who were believed to be Haitians. Simone Davis has the latest in this report.
Days after a video made its rounds on social media showing immigration officers entering a shop in the nation's capital and seemingly abusing the owners of the shop, who were allegedly Haitian nationals. Human rights activist Joe Darville shares his dismay in the way foreigners are being treated in the Bahamas.
It was absolutely depressing. I could hardly watch it. I could not believe like a bona fide Bahamian who's supposed to be a Christian would actually be inclined to set upon individual persons, whether they were legal or illegal.
Darville says while the intrusion of illegal foreign nationals to the Bahamas increased in recent times, Bahamians should be mindful that though they may be different, they should still be treated as human beings.
It does not give us the privilege or the right or the audacity to treat them, to mistreat them.
Now, just last week, the nation's leader said the government will begin the process to dismantle shanty towns around the country. This decision was made shortly after a Supreme Court judge's decision to discharge an injunction that barred the demolition of structures on Abaco and New Providence. After that court ruling, shantytown residents on Abaco said they didn't have anywhere to go. The human rights activist says in those instances, there should still be provisions made to accommodate illegal migrants until they are repatriated.
Before any action is taken based upon any court ruling, we must make sure that there is alternative housing for these people so that they can live in dignity. They are children of God.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Simone Davis.
Well, police officials are sending a stern warning to motorists on Grand Bahama to become more safety conscious and not to leave their motor vehicles running and unattended. Officer in charge of the Criminal Records Office and Press Liaison Assistant Superintendent of Police, Stephen Rose, says there has been an uptick in stolen vehicles recently, calling it a crime of opportunity.
They have been stolen from persons just walking the streets, seeing the opportunity. I have taken those vehicles and left those areas. It is an offense to leave your vehicle running with the keys in ignition, which carries a fine of $75. So if you're found in breach, you will be cited and put before the courts or be able to pay that fee.
Rose says 2 vehicles were stolen recently and 1 male was placed before the courts for one of those matters. When we come back, culture on full display this week at the Walter Parker Primary School. The details of that story, sports, and more. In the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition returns.
List your home in Grand Bahama with H.G. Christie. Visit their new office in the Port Lucaya Marketplace. H.G. Christie, celebrating over 100 years of service.
It's that time again. Buy your tickets now for Mr. Lucky's Big Raffle and win. Win one of 2 cars, a brand new 2023 Toyota, large cash prizes, a brand new PS5, and more. Enter today by going into your local Chances store and either depositing $20 or more onto your account or buying $20 or more lotto tickets. Tickets available until March 1st. Winners announced March 4th. So hurry into your local Chances store today. You gotta be in it to win it. Winners take chances. Chances remind you to game responsibly.
When I found out I was pregnant with Halo, I was pretty happy because that's my first time going to be a mother. The baby's heartbeat. She did end up swallowing some of the fluid, and she had the cord wrapped around her neck 3 times. I'm not the only mom that goes through this.
Everywhere they could have put a tube in my body, there were tubes.
Join the ZNS Health Zone with guest Dr. Mesples, a cardiologist at Doctors Hospital, the medical expert.
What are some of the warning signs that tells you you need to go and get to a doctor right away? This could be a heart attack.
Chest pain is an emergency. The people need to go to the hospital, no delay.
Heart Month, Monday, March 27th at 8:30 p.m.
switch on me. They don't care in front of company.
The King of the North is back. Howard 104.5 FM.
Your number one news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. A local pastor is sounding the alarm for parents to become more involved with their children when it comes to monitoring their social activities and managing their behavior. The religious leader believes parental control is critical amidst the ongoing crime in the country. Our Jolanda Thompson-Everest has more in this report.
Enforcing parental control in the home is one of many actions that father and pastor of New Destiny Kingdom Center, Pastor Glenn Russell, is urging parents to take. Pastor Russell believes that parents should minimize their kids' access to social media and television movies that show explicit scenes. Technology may now be the driving force of negative influence that have taken the world by storm. And as social media platforms continue to grow, Russell says parents ought to be careful to what their children are exposed to.
How to shoot somebody, how when you get angry, that's what you do. So there's nothing wrong with learning about what a gun can do. But then the perversion is when I'm learning it from the wrong place, the wrong source, the wrong time, the wrong information. So our society, the information is being released in the wrong timing and the wrong setting from the wrong set of people. And that seed, once that is planted like that, that's the, when I hold a gun again, I'm gonna do what I was taught in that environment. So it ain't just, oh, the gun is for protect. No, I bad, I'm a bad boy. That's how we do, and the gangs, we carry guns. So that's just life, you know. And so the rape comes from, oh, you've been exposed to sex the wrong way. No, you should be taught about sex, but it should be done in a proper environment. It should be done understanding what it is. How should it be done? The confinements of what? So if you're not being taught that, you're being introduced to pornography, being introduced to seeing it happening from your parents or whatever like that, and you get thinking it's something I could do. I don't need anybody to tell me to control me. If I want it, I can have it. Nobody teaching you these things. So the information that should be done, been taught or be released to the individuals in a safe and pure environment is now being released to them from people who don't understand what the ramification of the situation can be.
This father explains that parents are responsible for what comes out of their home.
Not the government, not the police. We are responsible for what comes out of our house. And we are responsible for what we teach them in the home. So when they go out, they can display it. Whatever they see, they will go ahead and display. And if they see it the wrong way, they're going to display it the wrong way. And I think that's what's been happening straight across the board, Bahamas and the world.
Russell echoing that the biggest injustice a parent can do to their child is turn a blind eye to certain behaviors that are critical to their well-being.
Because that blind eye you turn today could cause you cry tomorrow. You understand? And even with habits, certain things you see, you know, oh, that's just because he's young. Oh, that's just because she does. No, you look at these situations and you look at these habits and these flow, and you decide, you know what, my son should not be doing that. My daughter, don't laugh at it. Don't make it a joke. This is, you know, we laugh at things now. Oh, look how she whining. Look how he walking and doing that. No, that ain't a joke. No, you don't do that.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson-Everest.
Well dramatized folktales, dances, and other charismatic performances setting the stage for a folktale revival at Walter Parker Primary School Monday morning. Students from the various grade levels all participating in the special assembly on the school grounds. The school's very own librarian and program coordinator, Kimberly Muthra, penning the fascinating folktales included in about 10 books and explains the importance of embedding this aspect of Bahamian culture within the lives of her pupils.
We're bringing all the good old stories back, like Babuki and Barabi, Rat Princess, which hardly anyone knows about, Chick Chani, and of course, there was an old lady who learned to fish. She's from Swedenski. It's a carry-on of identity, and that's what we're losing right now, a community spirit. We don't even have that right now. And I notice a lot of kids, because we have influx of so many different cultures coming here now, the culture is so different to them. They are foreign to this culture. So if they want to be with us, you know, we got to start them young.
Muthra adds that ensuring that Bahamian legacy lives on is fitting, particularly as the country embraces the 50th independence celebrations.
So I thought it was fitting after we had 2 years of lockdown. I was on my laptop just hitting my keys and getting those books ready because I remember these kids were dying for folk tales and they didn't have it. So we were just tired of those English folk tales. We need to have our own stuff.
Your evening sports check is up next with Shane Stubbs.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Shane Stubbs, and welcome to yet another update in sports. We've got updates from softball as well as basketball, but first, the Island Relays Bahamas Invitational kicks off next month. Let's hear from those organizers. 4 years in the making, the Island Relays Bahamas Invitational will finally take place in Grand Bahama, March 17th through the 18th.
At this meet, we're going to have the University of South Carolina, who's our partner school, University of Oklahoma, University of Arizona, Vanderbilt University, Texas A&M University, Prairie View A&M University, and of course, our very own University of the Bahamas. We're excited to know that the economic impact for this event in Grand Bahama is going to be north of $2 million.
Enfield says this is a great opportunity to see the UB Mingos compete for the first time. Logistics manager Barry Morris echoed those thoughts, and he also spoke highly about the future of this upcoming event.
You want to come and you want to see how these students are performing and to see to what level where you are. This is coming back. And of course, when we come back, we certainly want to engage with the high school component to allow coaches to see the kind of talent that we have.
Proceeds from the event will go to the Red Cross. Next on the softball diamond, young Labria Sands had a stellar showing this past weekend in Tampa, Florida. On the offensive side, she was in the groove, hitting an in-the-park home run, a single, double, triple, and grand slam. From the mound, she pitched 4 innings, striking out 11 batters, topping speeds of 67 and 68 miles per hour. Last week, the 2028 class rankings were released by Extra Innings Softball, featuring the top 100 elite prospects. Labria ranked 5th of all the 2028 prospects across the United States. And lastly, in sports, scores from the GB Independent Schools Basketball Championship Series. In junior boys action, Pine Forest Academy got over Hampton Academy 33-28. Pine Forest would win that series 2-1. Whitley Diaris was named the MVP after leading Pine Forest with 14 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 steals. In senior boys action, Pine Forest Academy then got over First Class Education 47-38. Pine Forest went on to win that series 2-1, and Pine Forest Academy was led by Tanash Johnson, who scored 18 points, grabbed 10 rebounds, and was named the MVP. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's your update in sports. My name is Shane Stubbs. Be safe and be great.
The coconut got this, cocoa skin driven madness, juiciness ice the back, this sweet like sugar in a dripping like ice honey. I take all of my love me, sweet like sugar in a watch it go ba ba ba, 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 sweet like sugar in a
new clear platinum flavor, flavored beers with a kick of rum, make it platinum.
Athletes across the northern Bahamas inspire us with their performances on and off the field.
ZNS is proud to honor these competitors with our Athlete of the Month award. We will select an athlete whose story and accomplishments represents the best in their sporting discipline. Tune in to find out who will be the Athlete of the Month.
Will an athlete be you?
When I found out I was pregnant with Halo, I was pretty happy because that's my first time going to be a mother. The baby's heartbeat. She did end up swallowing some of the fluid, and she had the cord wrapped around her neck 3 times. I'm not the only mom that goes through this.
Everywhere they could have put a tube in my body, there were tubes.
Join the ZNS Health Zone with guest Dr. Mespless, a cardiologist at Doctors Hospital, the medical expert.
What are some of the warning signs that tells you you need to go and get to a doctor right away? This could be a heart attack.
Chest pain is an emergency. The people need to go to the hospital, no delay.
Heart Month, Monday, March 27th at 8:30 p.m.
So put me together, break me apart again. No doubt about
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Franklin McCoy, you are our Facebook friend of the day. We also want to wish you a happy birthday from the entire news team here in the North, and we hope you enjoyed your day. We also want to say a happy birthday to our friend of the North, Ishmael Baloo, and also to the sister-worthy matron of the Ladies of Endurance, Latoya Adderley. Hope you enjoyed your day. Happy birthday to you as well. And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. On behalf of the entire news team here, I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight continues.
A special message from Angel Cartwright, Miss Universe, the Bahamas.
As a Bahamian whose favorite seafood is grouper, my message to you is simple. Because Nassau grouper are critically endangered, we risk forever losing them if we do not work together to protect them. If you are a fisher, don't catch Nassau grouper during the close season from December 1st to February 28th. For seafood lovers like myself, join me in enjoying other fish like lionfish, jacks, or mahi-mahi, especially during the close season. And all year, remember, don't catch, sell, or buy any grouper under 3 pounds.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, the opposition's immigration proposal rejected. A jump in Exuma's COVID cases, third quarter trade increase, and day one of Hugh Campbell in the books. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report starts now.
ZNS News is linked up by BTC. Whether it's chatting, gaming, content creating, or working smart to get things done, link up to stay connected with BTC.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Makush Lapinder, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. The opposition is entitled to have its say and the government another. The basis upon which Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis last evening flatly rejected the Free National Movement's proposal for a select committee on immigration in the face of increasing irregular migration, charging that the time now is for action, not talk.
But we think that on our side, we are sufficiently satisfied that the appointment of a select committee to look into these matters again continues to kick the can down the road and will not bring the results that we think that we can do by what we have been doing, as we have demonstrated. I think part of the issue that attended to us and this issue is that the Bahamian people and the Bahamian public was not clear on what government has been doing. They were unaware of, or we have not properly communicated, and we accept that, of the things that we have been doing, and that in fact we do have a national policy framework on immigration.
Now, as set out during his national address Sunday evening, that immigration framework seeks to address the various challenges related to migration, border control, as well as international cooperation. The Prime Minister invited the opposition to review the policy and share their comments.
If you have good ideas and solutions to propose, to add to our efforts, those, of course, are most welcome and will be given all due consideration. There's nothing to stop you from proposing along with all the opposing you like to do. We urge you to stick to the facts at all times. That's all we ask. For example, this fact. Over the course of 1 year, we have repatriated more individuals than any other year in our country's history.
Well, ahead of the Prime Minister's contribution, East Grand Bahama MP Kwesi Thompson noted that there are times when the government and the opposition throw political blows, but there are also times when those fights should be put to the side, as in the case of providing solutions to the country's illegal immigration problem. Thompson, of course, was making a case for a select House committee on the country's illegal immigration crisis.
It is an issue that we should be inviting stakeholders to come and let us hear their views, to come and let us understand what their position is, come and understand what direction we should be taking with respect to this. Come and give us your input. Psychologists, we should be understanding them. The pastors, we should be understanding them. The people who live in these communities, we should be understanding them. The Defense Force officers, we should be understanding them. The police, we should be understanding them, so that we could better serve them, so that we can make recommendations to the government on how we can make things better. Well, now that a Supreme Court ruling has lifted the injunction blocking the demolition of shantytown communities in New Providence and Abaco, the Shantytown Action Task Force has reconvened. And according to Public Works Minister, the Honorable Alfred Sears, have started its work as surveillance and surveys already being done.
In a very short period of time, we will be meeting and outlining to the Bahamian public a roadmap to address the irregular, unpermitted structures, not only in the shantytowns, but also downtown Nassau, in other buildings which are not historically protected as historic buildings will also be served with notices, as some of them are being served as I speak. So this will not just be against any particular socio-economic group.
As the government makes public its blueprint for how it will move to demolish shantytowns throughout the country, John Q. Public weighing in on the issue. Carla Palmer has that angle.
As the government prepares to demolish those illegal structures of shantytowns throughout the country, General Superintendent of the Assemblies of God in the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands, Reverend Patrick Paul, is not concerned about which administration is to blame. Rectifying the long-standing problem once and for all is what they are hoping for.
We should not be having shanty towns. In fact, the rules and the regulations of how things should be governed, those things should have been enforced. If you are here illegally, then the government should take the course of what the law says to ensure that those things are carried out. Because as a people, we can only handle so much, we can only take care of so much, and that's the responsibility of government. God has given that responsibility to government, and so it's unfortunate, but it has to be done, and this government is in place, and it's upon their shoulders to ensure that what is necessary to be carried out is carried out.
Still, whenever the government moves to demolish those shantytowns, Reverend Paul is planning to be present. He wants the government to be responsible in its actions whenever the bulldozing of structures begin, and respectful of those persons affected. To this end, He says he has requested a meeting with the Minister of Labor.
And we, as an executive committee of the council, we wanted to meet with him to ensure that the steps that are taken would have been really a progressive one. He gave us an open date. We want to ensure that the dignity of those in whom has to be dealt with are in place and ensure that those things are carried out as the way they should. It's unfortunate that they have to migrate here to seek a better life, but we ought to do all in our power to kind of help and assist where we can, but the rule of law should take place and must take place, but to the best of all, it should be carried out.
Reverend Paul is hoping to have that face-to-face meeting with the Minister of Labor, the Honorable Keith Bell, in a week's time. We'll keep you updated. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Carla Palmer.
Meantime, sobering figures coming out of the Ministry of Immigration, a sad reality that only magnifies the growing need to address the issue and do so effectively. Despite the consequences and dangers, illegal immigrants of various nationalities continue to end up here in the Bahamas, albeit not their first choice. In 2022 alone, a reported 4,748 people were repatriated. All signs point to that trend continuing this year.
In January of this year, some 570 persons were repatriated. Between the 1st and the 14th of February 2023, some 454 deportations were taken. Madam Speaker, this totals 1,024 deportations for the first 6 weeks of this year. If present irregular migration trends continue, and from all indications it will, we will experience another record-breaking year.
And according to Immigration Minister, the Honorable Keith Bell, those repatriations not just focused on one country, as there have been flights to Haiti, Cuba, Guyana, Dominica, the United States, Jamaica, Nicaragua, Ecuador, Brazil, and Azerbaijan. No doubt, a costly exercise. According to the minister, in one case, a Chinese national in custody since 2018 was only recently repatriated.
The overall cost of repatriation for 2022 was some $1,506,077.10. Since my last communication, for this year, for the 1,024 persons repatriated, the government has had to spend some $326,257.91.
As for the present makeup at the Carmichael Road Detention Center?
At the Carmichael Road Detention Center, there is a total of 180 Cuban nationals, 97 Haitian nationals, other nationalities 33. And so in context, Madam Speaker, we see that there are twice as much Cuban nationals than there are Haitians in our custody at this time.
No word on when this group will be flown back home. Well, Minister Bell also at the time provided an update on immigration's enhanced vetting policy for applications as announced last month. Here's what was discovered in one instance.
Last month, a Bahamian submitted an application for a work permit. Upon review, it was discovered that the prospective employee was in the custody of the Immigration Department at the Carmichael Road Detention Center. Wow. The review of the application also highlighted concerning documentation, namely a medical certificate from a Bahamian medical practitioner in which the physician confirmed that he had examined the individual and found that person to be medically fit. This declaration was of significant concern to us, as the applicant, as I said, was in the custody of the Immigration Department at the time. Yes. To give the physician the benefit of the doubt, the visitor logbook at the Carmichael Road Detention Center was reviewed, and there is no record of any physician having visited the center. It was therefore impossible for the physician to have examined this individual as stated in his declaration.
Bell says in another case, a Bahamian medical practitioner confirmed that he had examined someone found to be medically fit. The problem was that the person had been deported several days earlier.
It does not stop there. With respect to lawyers, notary publics, and justices of the peace, the Immigration Department have found multiple cases where persons are certifying documents without taking sufficient steps to verify the identity of the individual or the genuineness of the documents that they certify to be original. Madam Speaker, the matter concerning the medical certificates has been referred to the appropriate body. However, let me issue a warning. It takes a very long time to become a physician or an attorney under the Republic. Making false declarations to the Department of Immigration is a criminal offense. The Department of Immigration is prepared and will prosecute such offense. To any professional providing false information to the Department of Immigration, I warn you to stop.
Bell says it's either that or face prosecution. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
From the youngest among us to the oldest gems, heart disease has touched many lives. And while cardiologists are doing their best to ensure these victims remain alive, nonprofit organizations are also doing their part, drumming up funding to secure the best treatment possible. Join me, LaDon Davis, this month, every Friday, for Chambers of the Heart.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
We are a leading Bahamian bank, one of the largest publicly traded companies on BISX. Our measure of strength is our growth and performance, with over $1.7 billion in assets. We remain committed to serving the interests of our shareholders, staff, clients, and communities. The confidence to lead, the performance to remain. We are Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Our lives are full of action. Hey, babe.
From the studio to the video to back home.
All while balancing family life.
BTC Fiber Internet is our solution.
BTC is best for us. Hello?
With fiber, we save more on fast, reliable internet. And we can prove it.
Go to BTC's website and compare for yourself.
Select your current product, price, and location.
You'll see how much you can save with BTC.
Link up with better value.
Link up with BTC.
Just when Leo was about to buy this useless pair of Hands underwear, he remembered that it was Tuesday. Hungry for deals? You better come satisfy it at KFC before doing something crazy. Crazy Tuesdays! 5 juicy, mouth-watering pieces of world-famous KFC chicken, handmade with a secret blend of 11 herbs and spices for only $10. Crazy Tuesdays! A finger-licking good deal.
You can find it all at Builders Mall. From cement, lumber, block, plumbing, and electrical, to paint, lights, vanities, and tiles. Not to mention all the tools you could possibly need to get the job done. Say if you're starting a major project, adding the finishing touches, or just doing some repair or rental work around the house. FYP, the Paint Center, and Tile King can help. Stop by or call 601-8453. Located 69 Wolf Road, Nassau. You can find it all at Builders Mall. Building, painting, and tiling, the Bahamas.
Health and tourism, the focus of the 67th Caribbean Public Health Agency Scientific Conference, set to take place next Monday at the Atlantis Paradise Island Resort. Regional health experts will meet to discuss challenges and develop strategies post-COVID-19. Our Desmond Saunders gives us a preview. Desmond?
Well, good evening, Makusla. The 67th Caribbean Conference comes on the heels of COVID's staggering impact on regional territories like the Bahamas. The pandemic unleashed its fury, negatively affecting tourism and the local economy. Minister of Health and Wellness, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, says despite its challenges, the Bahamas remains resilient. He hopes the event provides a pathway forward for the local health sector.
I am a firm believer that when we collectively collaborate, we are able to improve on our healthcare delivery systems, food security, and improve the productivity of our people by reducing the incidence of chronic non-communicable diseases throughout the region. The Bahamas remain committed to addressing the issues of health tourism to promote healthy and safer tourism products, both locally and regionally, as part of a pathway for recovery and resilience. I urge our tourism partners to register and be trained in order to be awarded the Healthiest Safety Tourism Stamp.
The Caribbean Public Health Agency Scientific Conference will provide evidence-based information and scientific research to assist countries like the Bahamas with public health strategies and methods of recovery post-disaster situations. Its Executive Director, Dr. Joyce and John.
There was a lot of training of the tourism sector in how to re-engineer the processes to minimize the effects of COVID-19 on the tourism product. And we've also had training in vector-borne disease. We are going to have in the margins of the conference, we are going to have specific training, research methods, and so on offered to the host country if they want to take it up. So CARFA has quite a wide range of training activities, not just under field epidemiology and lab training, but also under the specific subject matter.
Caribbean Health and Tourism Pathways to Recovery and Resilience, the theme for the 67th conclave that convenes in the Bahamas from April 27th to the 29th. Health officials hoping for a valuable exchange. Desmond Saunders, The Bahamas Tonight.
Well, thanks, Desmond. Following an outbreak of COVID-19 at Exuma's Ellen Coakley High School, Health and Wellness Minister, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, says the situation is under control as the number of infections has dropped. However, the number of COVID cases on that island increased.
When we first started out, there was about 6, possibly 8 cases of COVID. Today, there's only 2 reported cases. The schools are up and going, and everything seems to be under control. As far as Exuma is concerned, we have a total of 14 cases. Like I said, 2 at the schools, and the balance is in the community. We have about 26 or 30 people in quarantine, and it's going on a downward trend.
The health minister also today assuring there is no substantial uptick of gastrointestinal or upper respiratory illness in the country. His comments a direct response to a viral voice note from former health minister, the Honorable Dr. Dwayne Sands, who's accused the government of being negligent in reporting a concerning uptick in respiratory illnesses affecting adults, infants, and children, further charging that little information has been shared for parents to protect their children.
I'd like to make it very clear that the Ministry of Health is responsible for surveillance and reporting diseases or infectious diseases as indicated in the community. When we look at the reported cases and the data in front of us, there is no need to create panic. Our numbers for upper respiratory tract infection and gastrointestinal infections at this particular time is below the normal value, but we're constantly watching. And so these voice notes to create concern and panic, I don't think it's appropriate. If Dr. Sands has something or some information that he knows about that our ministry is unaware of, he needs to bring it to my attention rather than create panic in the community.
Well, that investigation into the death of 33-year-old mother of 3, Kenise Darville, is wrapping up. Darville died last month at the Princess Margaret Hospital, not long after issuing a public appeal for blood.
We made it very clear in the initial statements that the PHA and the Princess Margaret Hospital should move expeditiously to ensure that the case is investigated. I have been informed that we're near completion of that investigation, and very soon the family will be contacted by the managing director and the team at the Public Hospitals Authority.
In other news this evening, third quarter results show that the value of commodities imported into the Bahamas totaled over $1 million, an 8% increase compared to the same period last year. Major merchandise groups were machinery and transport equipment totaling $197 million, food and live animals at $184 million, and mineral fuel, lubricants and related materials at $167 million. As for exports, this totaled $154 million, a 1% decrease over last year. Now, contributing the most, manufactured goods, mainly classified by materials at $38 million, mineral fuels, lubricants and related materials at $37 million, and miscellaneous manufactured articles at $21 million. Now, time for the weekly poll question. And this week we're asking, do you believe Bahamians are xenophobic? yes or no. To participate, simply log on to our website, and that's www.znesbahamas.com, as well as any of our social media platforms to answer. The poll's final results will be aired on Friday, and as always, thanks for participating. The Bahamas Tonight returns after this.
Good to grow. Keeping you in the know. Keeping you in the know. God, if it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow. If it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow.
Bahamas Agricultural and Industrial Corporation, BAIC, recently launched its Golden Opportunity campaign in an effort to encourage entrepreneurs to lease land for touristic, agricultural, and manufacturing businesses. BAIC Chairman Leroy Major.
During the year of our country's Golden Jubilee celebrations, we want to take this opportunity to remind Bahamians that they can look to BAIC for assistance in land leasing. We have land available in Abaco, Eleuthera, Andros, where they can jumpstart their new business.
Mr. Major says over 150 applicants have been approved so far for land leases. He says the process is an easy one.
Yes, BAIC is a one-stop shop. As a matter of fact, all you need to do is come to BAIC with an idea. We have a department that will take your idea and put it on paper for you, create a business plan, and we will go through it. We will help you with it. Also, BAIC also have connections where we could give an opportunity to each prospective customer where they could find funding.
For more information on BAIC's Golden Opportunity, visit www.baic.gov.bs or call them at 396-3725. Keeping you in the know with Good to Grow, I'm Kendia Smith.
You may be closer than you think to a college degree. Global Learning Exchange has credit transfer options through our university partners. Reach your goals faster and finish your degree sooner. Speak with a GLX enrollment advisor today.
Worried about losing your furniture to costly termite damage? You need Rentokil Initials Drop-and-Go Furniture Fumigation, the only service like it in the Bahamas. Simply drop your furniture at a fumigation container located at 5th Terrace, Centerville, and collect your termite-free piece within days. Sealed with our termite-free guarantee. Fast, convenient, affordable. When it comes to complete termite eradication, there's only one name, Rentokil Initial.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A friend that you can trust. Family Guardian.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals, and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
3 days after a visitor was killed in an ATV accident on Arawak Key, the 42-year-old female driver of that vehicle was today formally charged with vehicular manslaughter. Florida resident Carol Garcia is accused of driving the 2019 green four-wheeler in an open area near the Arawak police station Saturday afternoon when she lost control. According to authorities, the vehicle subsequently overturned, ejecting her passenger in the process. Wilbur Jorge was seriously injured. He died in hospital. Garcia was not required to enter a plea to the charge. She was granted cash bail in the amount of $18,000. The U.S. resident is scheduled to return to court late May. Oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? A question I'm sure we were all asked one too many times while growing up. And while the answer was never the same, we all found, like the students at St. Cecilia's today, that the world was our oyster. Here's Antoinette Smith.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight.
As the saying goes, you can be anything once you put your mind to it. A lesson the students at St. Cecilia's are learning firsthand.
I want to do something in doctoring. I want to be a therapist. I want to be a veterinarian, a police, a news reporter, a doctor, a nurse.
That's why the teachers and staff over at the 3rd Street The Grove Catholic School have called in the cavalry, bringing in vehicles with all the bells and whistles, trucks with beds that move, and a crew straight from the station that covers the Bahamas best. It's all a part of the school's Career Day, where students are learning the tricks of the trade firsthand.
We wanted to show the children that they are just more than it's more to it than just being doctors, lawyers, teachers. We want to also encourage them to be able to use their hands, know that everybody's job is very important.
It's also why school officials have made it a little more interesting this year. Instead of the traditional career booths, career professionals presented straight from their offices, or rather, their trucks. And despite the sirens or loud and colorful horns, there was one booth that I'd like to think stole the show.
Actually, I was very surprised to see that the kids would be interested in broadcasting, and they even know a lot about ZNS. But all of them seem to be interested in breaking news.
One of them might be next engineer at ZNS or engineer at one of the other production houses. And if I had played a little small role in showing them anything to lead them to this profession, which is a good profession, it'll make me feel good.
Our theme this year is SWAG, which is Strikers with a Goal. That's our school's name, Strikers, St. Cecilia Strikers. And so this is one of our goals, is to bridge the gap between the community and our schools and to make our children aware of the different opportunities that they have out there in the community.
And that's a wrap today for Career Day in the Bahamas today in Anthony. I think she's trying to come for my job, but for the Bahamas tonight, I'm Anthony.
Oh, good one there, Anthony. Still on education this evening, our LaDawn Davis is standing by with some welcomed news for parents hoping to secure added funding for their children upon leaving high school. LaDawn?
Well, Makushla, several scholarships are currently available for Bahamians seeking to pursue tertiary level education either here locally or abroad. Now, as you can see behind me, this information session hosted by the Scholarships Loan Division of the Ministry of Education is expected to accommodate at least 500 Bahamians here at the Montabor Church. Now, I'm joined by the chairman of the Scholarship Loan Division, Ms. Robin Lyons. Mrs. Lyons, talk to us a little bit about this information session here this evening.
Well, good night to you, and thank you for coming and providing some national coverage of this event. This is an information session, and we have members of the Scholarship Division that are going to be talking about every scholarship that is available, how to apply, what are the various criteria, and most importantly, answering questions that students have and applicants have, and actually walking them through the application process.
And persons who are unable to attend this particular session, how can they apply for these scholarships?
Well, scholarshipsbahamas.com. Scholarshipsbahamas.com. All of the information is available to you. There is also a live stream of this. I believe it's on the Ministry of Education's page tonight. So if you're not here in person, please log on to the Ministry of Education's Facebook page and review the video, or even join us now live.
And I know you're excited about, offering Bahamian scholarships to pursue their education.
Absolutely. Education is the bedrock of this country. When we became an independent nation, education was one of the 4 pillars of focus, because we knew that an educated Bahamian is a Bahamian that is poised to take over the leadership of this country. And that's what this is about. In this room is the present and the future of our nation.
Robin Lyons, thank you so much for joining us, and all the best to you and the officials at the Ministry of Education. Thank you so much. Makushla, back to you.
Oh, thanks, LaDawn. Faculty and staff at Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute, meantime, mounting their annual True Blue Cultural Festival, BTVI's first social since students returned face-to-face in January. This year's festival in recognition of Black History Month and the country's 50th birthday as an independent nation. BTVI's Dean of Student Services, Raquel Bethel.
for us to reconnect with students that are returning and to welcome those that are coming in for the new semester. So we are so pleased and delighted to be able to meet our students in person, face to face, for the first time in about 2-3 years. We're most excited to be joined by so many of the high school bands, some of the prison band, the world famous Royal Bahamas Police Force band will be here, and we will top this afternoon off with a Junkanoo session. It is just a cultural fest, an event for us to get together and enjoy being Bahamians. We'll have a number of cultural activities. We'll have storytelling by the Antiquities and Monuments group. We will have showcases from BAIC. We'll have a number of our stakeholders and partners here, First Caribbean, NHI. So it's a family event.
Now, aside from the fun activities, Bethel also spoke to expectations once the event is over.
When our students walk away today, we want them feeling that they are so excited to be a part of the BTVI community. They are so excited to be here in a college environment. Our students want student life. They want everything that you get at a college and a university. So we want them leaving here today saying, yes, I've made the right choice to select BTVI. It's a wonderful place to be.
Chairman of the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, Paiswell Forbes, continuing his campaign to educate Bahamians about the goal, plans, and accomplishments of ZNS over the past decades. Last evening, he was guest speaker at the Kiwanis Interclub meeting at the Bahamas Red Cross headquarters. Forbes reminded the group that ZNS has been the link that connects the Family Islands, keeping residents informed on everything happening in the country. He added that as the country embarks on its 50th anniversary celebrations, the leading broadcaster is hoping to expand its presence by operating substations in other Family Islands.
We plan to extend the small station to Exuma and Abaco in the next fiscal year. Exuma, as you know, is a fledgling market, so is Abaco. We had had a radio station in Abaco back in the early 1990s, but Exuma is going to be the first one. As a matter of fact, we plan to do our testing at the National Family Island Regatta this year. So if you come to Exuma this year, I can't promise you nowhere to stay, but I mean, we plan to be there.
Forbes also issued an appeal for Family Island correspondents to be part of the team.
I need some stringers, what we call now, Dwayne Wallace call them correspondents. We call them stringers back in Kelsey Johnson Day. You all know what I'm talking about. People who could speak okay, who could operate their phone, who could record themselves saying, "Hi, Mr. Paiswells, this is me in Point Grand, Long Island. We just had an accident and Rafi just broke his leg, reporting from Long Island." I'm going to talk in full, but I'm saying we need people who we could kind of train. Y'all understand what I'm trying to get at. I want this country to be connected under my leadership. I'm tired of seeing what I call new Providence-based news and politicians every night. That hasn't been that. I want to see a real human interest story from Long Island.
Well, if your Sunday joyride took you through East Street a few days back, then you may have been greeted by the sight of blocked off traffic. But it was all for a good cause. Nonprofit organization, the Dynamic Youth in Action, promoting Bahamian culture and arts as the country nears the road to 50. Here's DYA Director Sharon McKinsey.
I think in order for the kids to understand where we are, where we come from, and what we're celebrating, is for them to be directly involved. And we teach a lot about our Bahamian culture, our Bahamian music, and because it would help them to, more understand where we come from and understand where we're trying to go. To get the kids directly involved in the celebration is definitely a must. And what better way than now, our 50th, our Jubilee.
Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
Have you been denied a U.S. visa and don't understand why? Have you been turned away from the U.S. border without an explanation? Maybe you've had a prior arrest or conviction and you're not clear on how to move forward at this point. Call our office. We may be able to help. 954-449-1833.
It's
that time of year again, and Rev wants to send you and the guests to Portland for the NBA VIP All Access Experience. Rev customers can enter to win an all-expense-paid trip for a 2 to see the Boston Celtics and the LA Clippers take on the Portland Trail Blazers March 14th to March 20th. Sign up or upgrade to Rev Trail Plus today to enter to win the NBA VIP All Access Experience to Portland. Rev, made for the game.
Link up with BTC and call it one and done. Link up with BTC and call it one and done.
We're in the midst of our fiberization process, and what this means in a nutshell for you is a vast improvement to your mobile, residential, and home services from BTC. We thought we'd hit the ground with our technical teams, come into a community like Stapleton Gardens for a look at what life with fiber will look like for you.
Breaking down this fiber that we have here, just think of the fact that we were using the existing copper network and you had a limited amount of speed. With this fiber, it's like it's using a cable that's made of glass but delivering simple service to you. Whether you're on the internet surfing, whether you just kind of connecting with your friends and family, this service makes it much more easier. Right now, we're presently in Stapleton Gardens, one of 3 areas that's going to be deployed this month. Moving forward, we're now doing our expansion because we've been expanding from the east to the west. Coming up next, we'll be looking at expanding to the Family Island. So it's earmarked to have like another 12,500 homes connected. But for now, we're moving out month per month in New Providence and the Family Islands. With regards to customers on our legacy platform, this infrastructure would allow them to have way more connectivity, more access, more options. Because before, on the legacy platform, you only can offer telephone. Now this can offer a triple play solution, and in some cases, even security. Now, you can do, like I say, the things you want at your speed. People have now gotten to the point where now they can't live without the connectivity, especially during the Super Bowl that just went down. So those types of things would be looking for on BTC's fiber.
So this is kind of what it looks like. We're talking about fiber, but wait until you experience just what it feels like. These are still the moments that move us. I'm Corbell Pyfrom. Be well and be back here. Next, BTC Connection.
Here, raising prices might have been a thorn in the backs of Abaco residents for some time, but perhaps not much longer. This as price control officials hope to remedy a number of challenges they say they've faced on the island since the passing of Hurricane Dorian. Speaking to the press at a training session for the Consumer Affairs Inspectorate, Chief Price Control Inspector for the Northern Bahamas, Reno Smith, says employees who once worked in the Abaco office had either resigned or relocated to other islands in the wake of the dangerous storm. He says with a lack of manpower to continually enforce rules, price control officials have been on the receiving end of a number of complaints from residents, inclusive of gasoline prices, price tags on breadbasket items, and even this.
The major complaint in Abaco we're faced with is rent control. We have a young lady there who's renting an unfurnished one-bedroom efficiency at $1,000 a month. That's unacceptable. So no one is there to police rent control or any other consumer concern at this time. And so we need to get our officers back in Abaco to remedy or to address those concerns.
Smith also giving insight on what rent control should look like.
Rent control is basically 15 to 35% of the value of the residence, and you divide that by 12 months. And so if a place is valued at $50,000, there's no way the landlord should be getting $12,000 because that's more than 15%. And so, yeah, we need to address that.
Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makishna. We have mostly clear skies, temperature at 76 degrees, the relative humidity 68%, south-southwest winds at 7 miles per hour, the barometric pressure 1,018.4 millibars, that is 30.10 inches, and the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the Family Islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 78 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and the Grand Toll Key with Marsh Hababico reporting 77 degrees. The Berry Islands and Alistown, Bimini, 79. 79 is also in Harbor Island. Rock Sound, Eleuthera, 78 degrees. Black Point, Exuma, Kemp's Bay, South Andros, and Fresh Creek in Central Andros at 79 degrees. 75 in Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rumkey, Georgetown, Exuma, 78 degrees. 78 in Ragged Island, Clarence Town, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, and Acklands. Matchetown in Agua, 79, and the Turks and Caicos Island also at 79 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Center. In the northwestern islands tonight, south to southwest winds, speeds around 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. High tide takes place at 8:51 tonight. For the central and southeastern islands, east to southeast winds also at 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. Now, Wednesday in the northwestern and central parts of our country, the winds rotate, becoming southeast at 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. High tide occurs at 9:14 in the morning with the low tide at 3:33 in the afternoon. In the southeast Bahamas on Wednesday, southeasterly winds increasing 12 to 18 knots, the wave heights building 3 to 6 feet. So we will post caution flags for the southeast Bahamas on Wednesday. And then as we roll into Thursday, in the northwestern parts of our country, southeast to south winds at 10 to 15 knots with the wave heights remaining at 2 to 4 feet. The high tide will take place at 10:01 in the morning with the low tide at 4:19 in the afternoon. Now for the central and southeastern islands on Thursday, the winds continue to increase out of the southeast at 15 to 20 knots, wave heights building further 4 to 7 feet over the ocean. So caution flags will now include both the central and southeastern islands on Thursday. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
Mom, from the other night, we had a good night, then you disappeared on me. Where you going? But hey, y'all, where you been, y'all? I've been looking for you. But hey, y'all, where you been, y'all? I've been looking for you. I've been chilling out by the bar last night. She was looking nice, she blew my...
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, the extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Honey, everything okay?
Everything's fine.
Shop online for free in-store pickup in 2 hours or less.
Hey, it's your honorary pump attendant back again with another episode on the do's and don'ts at the service station. Let's go. What you ain't gonna do is just pull up to any dispenser and put the nozzle inside your car without reading the signs. Because if you put the wrong fuel inside your car and the car mess up, you could be mad at us, all right? And then you have to walk or catch bus for about 3 to 18 months. What you're supposed to do is read the signs. We place signs all over the dispenser to tell you which fuel is which. Because you put the wrong one in the car, say bop, and you could be mad at us. You could be, oh, what happened to my car? No, it's you who ain't read. It say diesel, diesel, one word, diesel. You got up, and you mad at us. Read, that's all you have to do.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance, peace of mind.
from Call It Bahamas with Love. For the entire month of February, let the home enhancement continue with 15% off all in-stock cabinetry, white shaker, Swiss chocolate, Ovaltine brown, and Hello Milo. Whether you're upgrading or modernizing, visit our showroom at Sandy Port Cable Beach and choose your quality cabinetry at 15% off. Call It Bahamas, 4 locations, Nassau, Freeport, Abaco, and Eleuthera. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
24 teams, 4 pools, 1 championship trophy. Will the C.I. Gibson Rattlers reign supreme? Or will the Charles W. Saunders Crusaders get in their way? Or will Sunland Baptist defend their crown? Or maybe will a Family Island team pull an upset? Tune in to ZNSO Sports for all the highlights of the 2023 Hugh Campbell Basketball Classic, February 20th through the 27th. Don't miss it on the only station that matters.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to your Tuesday Sports, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports news after much anticipation and build-up. The 2023 Hugh Campbell Basketball Tournament getting underway yesterday at the Kendall G. Isaacs Gymnasium. 8 teams in action. Look at some of the highlights from day 1. Game 1 would be a wire-to-wire affair to open up the 2023 Hugh Campbell Basketball Tournament as the Armbilly Pacers would take on the Temple Christian Suns. Both teams would trade baskets for 4 quarters, but it would be the Suns making enough clutch plays down the stretch to walk away with the 51-49 victory.
I think altogether the team played well. It was a solid defensive effort. We need to get a little bit tighter when it comes to our execution, but all in all, I think the boys played well.
And I know I can get in trouble for saying it, but I feel 1 or 2 calls could have gone our favor, could have gone our way. We didn't get it. Nevertheless, I think our boys, we go out there, we play with heart, we stick to the game plan. We wanted to get the W, but it happens.
In Game 2, another private school versus government school matchup that will pit the CB Bethel Stingrays against the Queens College Comets. Harcourt McCoy's patented press defense would allow the Stingrays to build a double-digit cushion after 1 half of play. But in the second half, the Comets would mount a furious rally, getting as close as 3. But ultimately, some free throws down the stretch would seal their fate, and CB Bethel would escape with the 41-36 victory.
Well, the guys have performed much better in the regular season with the GSSA. They had that energy. They were all psyched for the tournament. So they kind of played good. And then we had a little downhill where we going down in that slope, but they were able to come out in the end with a victory.
You know, they pretty young. They're pretty young in the game, inexperienced. But they came out, they fought. They just didn't execute. And they wasn't fundamentally sound throughout the game. Little mistakes here and there. We missed a ton of layups, missed some assignments. Things we're going to clean up.
In the third game of the day, it would be a BAISS showdown between the Kingsway Academy Saints and the BAISS runner-ups, the Jordan Prince William Falcons. For the Dirty Birds, they would enter the tournament with a chip on their shoulders, just falling short in the BAISS final. They would get out running from the gate and never look back. Powered by some hot outside shooting, Prince Will would get into the winner's bracket, cruising to a 76-49 win.
We had to go back to the drawing board and really fix our defense. Our defense was a major problem for us, and we had to be more disciplined in that area. And we came out, we did way better than what we normally do defensively in the first 2 to 3 quarters.
And in the final contest of the day, it would be anything but, as the CC Sweeting Cobras would take on the GHS Magic. But it seems, though, that the Magic would leave their mystical powers at home. The Cobras would strike first, getting out to a 27-zip lead after 1 quarter of play. Yes, you heard that right, 27-0. GHS would not score their first basket until midway through the second quarter. CC Sweeting would make short work of the Magic, winning easily 67-31.
The defensive pressure was good, and we just set the tone. I told them to come out and set the tone early. Don't underestimate Governor. They're well coached, and that's what they did. They executed.
Well, we know coming out today, after the regular season, we had a bunch of hard practices because we missed on a good opportunity of making the playoff. Our guys know we fell short, so we had a great week of hard practice. We preached defense and rebounding, and once we do that, we'll be successful.
Highlights from day 2 in tomorrow's Sportscast. From the hardwood to the track, the Bahamas set to host the 50th edition of the Caribbean Track and Field Games in just a short few months. Repairs well underway to the facility that will host the event. Speaking to reporters outside of Cabinet earlier today, Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Mario Bolag, giving the public this update on the progress of the works.
It's going very well. So far, what we have done is that we have obtained a contractor for the cost of some $2.8 million to do the cosmetic works as relates to the structure of the stadium. And that is expected to be finished by mid-March, the latest the end of March, which will have us prepared and ready to go for Carifta, which will be in the second week of April during the Easter celebration. The track itself, we also, in the meantime, are also repairing the old and the new track surface itself. The old track surface should be completed by the end of this month, and we expect the new track, which is getting some minor repairs, which we intend to replace for the World Relays in 2024.
And in sailing news, several of the country's top laser sailors competing over the weekend at the Ilka Midwinter event in Clearwater, Florida. A 6-member team comprising of Eliane Higgs, Katie Kelly, Enzo Godoy, Zachary Knowles, Alvington McKenzie, and Craig Ferguson, the latter who recently moved up from the Optimist division, finishing third out of some 50 sailors in the Ilka 4 group. The team hoping that their performance and the momentum from this event can be carried out through the rest of the year. And that's been a look at sports on this Tuesday. A check on weather when we return.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Make your company representative stand out through an embroidery design on your uniforms from Janae's Uniform Center, Chesapeake Road. Janae's utilizes the latest state-of-the-art embroidery technology to monogram large and small quantities of shirts, caps, bags, and other articles. If you don't already have a digitized logo, Janae's can design and digitize your idea and bring it to life. Then install the logo of your choice from their large selections of 27 stock colors of golf shirts in cotton or dry fit, caps, or workwear. Call 394-8385 or 6 or visit www.janae's.com.
Health is the greatest gift. That's where we come in. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies is a premier distributor of medical equipment, as well as medical and surgical consumables. Our engineers are always on hand, providing top care service that saves lives. We carry a wide selection of over-the-counter and prescription items, IV fluids, and other injections. Our products are state-of-the-art, and our entire team stays on top of cutting-edge technology. With more than 2 decades of dedicated service, Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies continues to be a trendsetter and innovator in healthcare. We have set ourselves apart by truly caring for our customers. We understand the intricacies of healthcare, and we produce spectacular results. We cherish our partnerships and nurture our friendships as we continue on our quest to help everyone maintain that wonderful gift of good health. Find us on 9th Fifth Terrace, Centerville, right in the heart of the medical service epicenter of Nassau, Bahamas.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, that area of high pressure will continue to influence our weather over the next several days, rendering some rather warmer days and mild nights. Our forecast for tonight calls for mainly clear and a bit on the warm side. The low temperature around 71 degrees, and tomorrow it's going to be sunny to partly cloudy, but still rather pleasant, with a high temperature getting up to 82 degrees. And your extended weather forecast, as we promised you already, beautiful weather for the next 7 days. Low 80s during the daytime will be your temperature. Those nighttime temperatures will reside somewhere in the upper 60s to low 70s. Makishla.
Well, thanks, Basil. That does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
The Bahamas. Natural, pristine. The Lucayan Indians were the first to settle here and flourished because of their rich marine resources. Delightful to behold, recounts Columbus when he discovered these islands. And some of them remain in this pristine state today, as sanctuaries for the species that make their homes here, and havens where visitors and communities may derive a unique quality of life, and accessing places of unparalleled scenic beauty. Thanks to a group of concerned citizens, the Bahamas National Trust was formed and established through an act of Parliament, thereby preserving the natural beauty of these islands. It all started in the early 1950s on the island of Great Inagua, when two brothers, Jimmy and Sam Nixon, showed a visiting conservationist the island's dwindling population of flamingos. When they started, there were only 5,000 birds left. With the support of conservationists, the brothers helped form the Society for the Protection of Flamingos,